All right, perfect. So those of you guys that are on here, or if you're watching this recording later, you are on a Zoom because your goal is to go executive director or vice president this month, okay? Or the month that you're watching this if it's later. So we're gonna kind of dive into just some leadership level type conversations. If some of this is new for you guys, it's okay. We're gonna just take it in stride, okay? So let me pull my notes over here and then I'm gonna screenshot a little bit with you. So we have our launch event scheduled strategically, you guys, for 90 days. The reason why is we knew that we wanted to have some really incredible incentives at this launch event, but we also knew we wanted to give the field a good run, some momentum so that they could actually hit some of these things that we're putting out there. And obviously, those of you that are on this call, if you are going executive director and vice president this month in January, you're earning the leadership breakfast, you're earning the yacht, you're starting to earn your qualifications for the 1,000 or the 2,000 in cash back, right? And so really what you also need to be doing is digging in and getting as many people on your team focused on going director so they can get on the yacht, focused on going senior director so they can get on the yacht and go to the breakfast. That's also going to help push you guys forward. So even if you've already qualified for some of those things, you want to bring as many people on those as possible. So one of the things that like I was just thinking about is, you know, if you're going executive director this month, okay, in January, you're going VP then maybe in February or March, right? And so you're going to be able to qualify for pretty much everything that you have your hands on, all right? Okay, so a couple of just tips on running for promotions before we kind of dive in and dig into all of this is one of the biggest things that I'll tell you guys is when it's your month to promote. And when I say it's your month to promote, it's because you've decided, you've said, this is my month. I'm going executive director. I'm going VP or bust. Like it's happening. It's done. I am hitting this. I am going for it. I want to tell you guys right now that Sunday is the last day of the month. So it is going to be, Sunday the 31st. If you were here last month, which all of you guys were, month end was a little bit crazy. It was the very first month that we'd ever been opened, our software company, and we're doing that on a weekend, right? We're doing that on a Sunday night. And so software is not going to be available. And so what I want to tell you guys is plan to promote on Friday the 29th or Saturday the 30th. That way, when you wake up on the 30th or when you wake up on the 31st, if there's a mistake here or there, you've got all day to go figure it out, fix it, get it done before actually the month closes. And so kind of be thinking of that as we're getting closer to the end of January. Obviously, we've got 20 days, 21 days left in the month, but start thinking about that. So the other thing is, you know, when I put that post out on Bravenly Nation, I said, what are you claiming this month? And you guys said executive director or vice president. Like I said, if you've claimed it, it's go time. It's time to pull out all the stops, every bit of energy, motivation, posting, time, discipline, like make that a strong decision. And then every fiber in your being is going towards executive director or is going towards vice president, right? Like you are eating, breathing, sleeping your charts, what your promotion is. So once that decision is made, right? Like once you guys have that like set, one thing I know for me that I always have had to do is every morning my mind's got to be right. Like my mindset has better be excited, energetic, focused, disciplined. Like I've got to dial in everything going on from like the neck up, right? Like this headspace right here has to be so in tune with what I'm doing because it's so easy to get knocked off track. It's so easy to let life get in the way. You guys, the world right now is crazy, right? It is so easy to let some of those things completely derail you and pull you off course for what you're doing. And so every little bit of that decision, like I said, needs to be going towards personal development and personal activity. So let's break down what these ranks look like. I'm going to screen share with you and we're going to start kind of digging in. So let me pull my notes over here so I keep on track. All right, so what I'm going to tell you guys is if your goal is executive director for January, I want you focused on the left side of the screen. Okay, don't even worry about vice president. Why? Because that is not just double the volume, but triple the volume. All right. If your goal is vice president, I want you looking there. All right. But I want you zeroed in on what that is. Take a screenshot of it. For the rest of this call, as I'm talking, I want you thinking about this chart, whatever your goal is. If your goal is executive director, eat, sleep, breathe, this chart for the next little bit of time that we have on this Zoom. So Molly and I put together these new charts. They're going to be way more functional. I'd love feedback. If they're not, we can tweak them, but there's little boxes where you can start checking stuff off. So let's talk about what you guys need. Obviously, you're leaders. So you know you need to be active. You need to have a personally enrolled active brand partner and 2 qualified ambassadors. Guess what? If you got your 2 qualified ambassadors last month, that counts for this month. Why? Because a qualified ambassador is somebody that's ordered 25 BV from this month and 5 prior. So if they ordered last month, check, you're good to go. You just need to make sure then that one of your personally enrolled brand partners is active in the month of January, okay? So executive director, you have 5 legs, 3 of them are qualified, which just means a qualified leg is somebody in that leg that's active. You've got a senior director leg and a director leg, okay? Most of you know this, but I'm just going to say it. Let's say the person that is frontline to you right here is just a qualified leg or active, or maybe they're not even active, but there's a director underneath them. You can use that person as your director. It does not have to be frontline to you. It does not have to be a personally enrolled. The system is just looking and saying, you know, does Olivia have a director in this leg? If the answer is yes, check. There you go. That's your director for that leg. All right. And then it's 10,000 in total group qualification volume. So that's between you, your customers, and then everybody on your team. The best part, you guys, about being a leader and running for promotions is it's not all on you. A lot of times in the very beginning of your charts, you kind of feel like, oh, I have all this volume to do. But when you're at executive director, you guys, that's 22 brand partners that are on your chart. Do you guys know what 10,000 in volume is divided by 22 people? It's 454 per person. That is why we want to be pushing people to get into the 400 club. If every single person on those 22 people are getting in the 400 club, you're just short just a little bit of volume. And we know there's going to be people that do more. We know there's people that are going to do less. We also know that you're going to have more people under here than what is just on your chart. But that to me is like the most awesome thing in the world, to know that my volume is going to help count towards that. And if I'm doing my job and coaching every single person to get to 400 PBV club or more, it's in the bag. 10,000 group volume, it's in the bag. People are running for people are running for founding brand partner club right now, and they're trying to get to 1,000 themselves. You guys, if you have a new person that joins your business anywhere on your chart, I'm not talking about personally enrolled, anybody on your chart that's brand new this month, get them excited about going founding brand partner. If they do it in this month, that's 1,000 right there. Go find 10 people that are excited about that. There's your 10,000 in group volume right there. It's done, right? So let's look over at vice president. If that's your goal, if your goal is not, stay on executive, okay? If your goal is vice president, same thing, active, you got to have your personally enrolled and your qualified ambassadors. You're now looking at 2 legs that are qualified. You've helped maybe your senior director go up to executive director, and you've helped your director go senior director. And now you've helped one more person go senior director on your team. Okay, it's 30,000 in group volume. So this is a little bit of a jump. And I'm going to tell you guys this because we're on a leader call right now. If you just promoted to executive director last month, and you're like, okay, well, the next rank is VP, so I guess that needs to be my goal for January. Just know it might take you a little bit longer than 30 days to triple your volume. Okay. I know for me in the past, when I've hit pretty big volumes, I've needed a 90-day run to actually go hit that next one. Right. And so sometimes your goal is, if you went executive director last month, maybe your goal is, I want a qualified executive director, and I want to, maybe instead of just hitting 10,000, I want my group volume to get to 17 or to get to 25,000. And maybe your real goal for vice president is not January and it's really February. Okay. I'm just letting you know that's okay. Sometimes you need a 30, a 60-day, a 90-day run to actually hit that next rank, because the volume not just doubles, triples. As you go up the chart, the volume becomes higher. It's a lot easier to double, triple, quadruple promote on those lower ranks. It's a little bit harder to do that once you guys are getting to those higher ranks. Okay. So this is me just telling you that if your goal is actually not vice president for January, I want you to also think of your new goal. If you hit executive director last month, what is your goal for January? Okay. I've seen way too many people claim the next rank and then not even come close to hitting it. Where if they would have actually had a goal that was like, okay, I'm going to maintain executive director and I'm going to increase my volume by 10,000. They hit it, and then they're on track to hit that next goal. So if you need to talk through that with me and have a personal conversation about what your team is doing and what your goal actually should be for January, let me know, and we can definitely kind of talk through what that looks like. So just so you guys know, the maintenance on both of these, to hit it the first month, obviously, is 10,000 for executive director. The next month to maintain is 7,500. To hit vice president the first month that you're hitting it, you have to do 30,000. To maintain it, it's 24,000. So it's a little bit less of maintenance. And so that's just good to kind of have in the back of your head, because when you're pushing for promotions, you want to make sure that everything's organic, that things are, you've got leaders in place so you can actually maintain it the next month, and you're not going to go backwards 2 steps or whatever, that you're setting your business up for success. So I'm going to keep this screen share going for just a little bit longer, because I want to dig in and kind of talk a little bit about charting and how to do it and how to use your back office to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of these. So when you're looking at this, whatever your goal is, you need to know who is promoting with you. Who are in those promotion boxes? Promotion boxes are the ones that are colored. Okay. They're the ones that have a rank next to it. Senior director, executive brand partner, senior brand partner. You need to know who's promoting with you, and you need to have the conversation with them. What is your personal PQV goal for this month? Are you trying to get into the 400 club? Are you going for the 700 club, the 1200 club, the 2000 club? I mean, I don't know if Alexis and Jordan are on here. I thought I saw them pop on, but like, we need to do a call with them, because they are killing it with customers. I'm like blown away by how much volume you guys have. It's insane. So you need to make sure that you are specifically asking every one of those people in those promotion boxes, what's your PQV goal? Going into your qualified legs, if they're in your chart, what's your PQV goal? Why? Because if they say their goal is getting into the 700 club, you can coach them better. Maybe they're only a qualified leg for you. You can coach them better as the month is going. If they're at 500 and they have 10 days left, hey, you're almost to your goal. You've crushed this, right? And that's how you're going to be able to get more volume to hit your promotion. So who are you working with? This is the question of the day. There's people that are always going to be in your organization and on your chart that I call kidnappers, right? They get in for $49, they get their kit and they nap it and they're gone, right? They're like gone for good. You don't ever hear from them again. You're like, what'd I do? It's not about you. You didn't do anything, right? They got scared. They talked to their brother that lost money in Amway. Like, there's so many different things that happen, and it's okay, right? And so just know that that is going to happen. With that being said, I've personally learned the hard way on this one too. And I'm always going to be real with you guys about what I've done. I'm going to share my best tips, and then the parts where I failed and where I maybe faltered, I'm going to share with you guys so you can pick things apart from that and don't repeat it. I have put people on my chart when I'm going for promotions that are not working and they're not doing anything. And you know what that did for me? I had to go do more work, where if I would have maybe just went out and found a new person that actually wanted to do this. I went to church and I talked to the homeschool mom that is always talking about how she just needs a little bit of extra money, but I'm scared of what she's thinking of me if I tell her about my business. Maybe it's time that I have the courage to talk to her and have her get on my chart and work with her, right? And so this is one of those moments where if somebody is genuinely not working, maybe you've got somebody that went executive brand partner for you last month to hit one of your goals, but you did all of the work, right? Like they didn't return any of your calls. It's time to dig in. Go talk to that senior brand partner. If they're excited, get them to executive brand partner. Don't worry about the person that's maybe above them, that's not working, not answering calls, not digging in. Go find somebody in that leg that wants them and pull them up. You pour belief into that person. It does not matter that they are not personally enrolled to you, right? If they are on your team and in your organization, you have the right to talk to them and get them excited about going for the next rank and going for their goals. So I would tell you, never promote somebody that's not working. You can maybe use them for a qualified leg if they're active, but I would rather reach out to people that are actually working because it is so much less stress and it just goes faster. People that are matching your effort and matching your energy, it's going to go way faster than you trying to drag the people that aren't, right? So another thing I would be doing with these charts, you guys, is calling every single person that's in your promotion box and having that conversation. Are you in or are you out? This is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm going for. I'm going executive director this month, and I've got you in, going senior director, but are you in or are you out? Are you going to get on the Zooms? Are you going to, get on power hours? Are you going to do those things, right? And have those conversations with them. Do they know, like if you've got a director in your team, do they understand what director looks like? Do they know what they need to be doing? Are they running auto ships? Are they getting on Zooms? Are they showing up to things? Are they leading by example, right? Are they enrolling? If not, you guys dig in and find somebody in that leg that is. Okay, so let's talk about who you're working with, because I think, hold on, let me take a drink, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to talk all the way through the Zoom. Okay, so if you're looking at your chart, who are you working with? It's sometimes overwhelming to look at the whole thing, especially that vice president chart that has like 40 some people and thinking you have to be in personal conversations with everybody. I'm going to tell you guys one thing. This is where layered leadership comes in. Okay. So who do you work with? You work with your new personally enrolled brand partners that have just enrolled. You work with your personally enrolled, no matter where they are on your chart. Then you work with everybody in a promotion box. Okay. So what you're going to do if you're the executive director is, let's say you then tell your senior director, all right, you're working with your new brand partners, you're personally enrolled, and then everybody in your promotion boxes. And then your senior director layers that leadership down. The director is working with those people, the senior director. That way, when you have an executive brand partner, you guys, that executive brand partner is taking care of those 3 people. You're starting that from an early time where they've got 3 people on their team. They're a leader. You guys, people show up and have leadership when you express that and speak life over them and start coaching them and mentoring them and bringing them, kind of under your wing. But I would be digging into that executive brand partner and being like, all right, these 3 people, this is your team. These are the 3 that you're working with, right? And start creating that layered leadership down in the depths of your organization. So same thing. Okay, sorry, not same thing. I had 2 notes on there and I did them all in one. So placing and building. Let's kind of have that conversation of what that looks like. So, okay, when if you guys already have your top 5 line or your top 4 line, if you're going executive brand director and you've got these 4 people, or I'm sorry, it is 5 legs. That's right. So you have your 5 legs. Okay. Executive director and vice president all has 5 legs. What do you do when you enroll that 6th person? Where does that person go? Where do you start placing that person? Okay. You start looking on your chart. This is why it is so dang important to have this and have it filled out. You want to start plugging the holes. Where's there a hole? If maybe there's a hole over here, in a hole over here, have a conversation with the person you're co-sponsoring with. And what that means is, let's say this is a hole right here. You're going to be reaching out to the person that is in this director box. Let's just say okay, I'm just going to tell you guys the first 3 people that I see on the screen because I don't want anybody thinking I'm playing favorites or anything like that. But I see Olivia, Caleb, and Atreyu. They must have been the first 3 people on the Zoom because so you guys are the people I'm going to use for this, okay? I love everybody. I love you all. So let's say that Olivia is in this box right here. All right. I would be calling Olivia and saying to her, hey girl, I'm super excited. I actually just personally enrolled a brand partner. I think they'd be a really, really good fit for your team. But here's kind of what I want to know. Here's what I need to know. Are you going to help? Are you going to match my efforts? Are you going to pour into this person, help place underneath them? Because I really want to put them in a position where they're going to go executive brand partner. That's their goal for the month. She's already talking to her mom and her sister about being customers, and her best friend is already watching Aspen's video to be a brand partner. But I need to know that if I put her under you, you're going to help. You're going to, maybe place that other person on her front line so she can go executive brand partner and you can go director. Are you in or are you out? Okay. That is a conversation that needs to happen. And if she's like, I don't really think I want to do that. All right, then you reach out over here to your other director and you reach out to Caleb and you have that conversation with him and he says, oh, I'm all in for going director. Yeah, I'll do anything. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of that. I will take this person under my wing. I will help guide them. You just tell me what I need to do. When can I connect with them? Oh my gosh, that means I'm 2 people away. I've got this, right? Those are the kind of conversations you've got to have. And those are the kind of conversations you need back to know that when you place somebody on somebody else's team, that they know what your expectations are of that person. You guys, this is a placement business. We don't need to hide. We don't need to run from it. When you have your top 5 lines, every single person that you enroll for the life of your business is getting placed under somebody somewhere, right? So have those leadership type conversations with the people that you're placing those people under. So here's the thing too. If somebody is not enrolling, and what I mean by enrolling is no brand partners, no customers, or maybe they're heavy on one. If you have somebody on your team that's not enrolling right now and you're like, yeah, they're not really they're not really working. They may be working so hard and just not enrolling. That does not mean that person's out, right? That's where when you're not seeing enrollments, do not count that person out. Have a conversation with them and say, hey, I've noticed since you got in, you're not active. You don't have anybody in the system. What can I do to help, right? Spend some time looking at the conversations, help them with the conversations that they're having. You might be able to seal the deal or coach them through some wording. If they're actually working and they're actually going to take that coaching from you, you guys, that's what you're looking for. If not, I don't mess around. I'd be going to somebody else. I'd be starting a new leg or helping somebody else and placing somewhere else. If they're not willing to do the work and then not get coached from you, that's your answer right there, right? So that's where you're like, okay, now I know this person is not really in it. They're not really here. They kind of said they want to go executive brand partner, but they're not showing me anything that they actually wanted. But don't make that decision until you've had that personal conversation with them. You've coached them through some stuff. You're helping walk them through that. So, all right. So I would say to you guys that I would start having these conversations now. Tonight, tomorrow, no later than tomorrow, right? If you guys don't have your chart printed out right now, do it as soon as we get off the Zoom, start filling it out. I'm going to show you kind of how to do that in here in a second, but start having these conversations tonight with the people on your team. One goal that I always had, and I told everybody on the Zooms yesterday, try to have your structure done by the 15th of the month. That's in 5 days. Okay. The reason why is then you have the rest of the month to go fill the volume. You have the rest of the month to go help every single one of those people get their customers. It's okay if it doesn't happen. It's a goal, right? It's just something to kind of shoot for. I've done it sometimes and I haven't done it other times, but if your goal is the 15th, you might get it done by the 20th, right? And then at least you have a little bit of time to kind of help fill that volume. So okay, let me look at my notes. Where am I at? One of the things that I would be doing too, when I say working with these people, is maybe I would set up a text message group with all of the people that are promoting with you this month that's underneath you. You guys need to be like in constant contact with those people. If you're promoting, you do not have time to sit in chats all day long. You just don't. And neither does anybody on your team. But provide a space for excitement. Provide a space where they're going, I got a customer, and it's creating that energy, right? And hop in there in the morning, give everybody a little boost, some excitement, but you don't have time to sit in there. Have a space though where they can share their wins, and maybe they could get help with messaging. So let's see. I already kind of talked about the fact that you guys aren't doing this all by yourself, making sure you're locking arms with people. So let's talk about just signing DTs. So I'm going to quickly tell you what I told all of the people on the Zooms yesterday. Some tips for signing brand partners. Messaging for brand partners, all of your messaging right now, if you still have boxes and holes in your structure, every little bit of energy right now needs to go towards filling that. I would be messaging for brand partners, not ambassadors right now. I would be posting on your story and sharing your story about brand partners, about the business, what this business is doing for you, your story. Why did you get in? What's your why? Sharing your goals, going live, following up with people for the business, for the brand partners. All right. Here is a tip for you. Some of you might know this, some of you don't, but if you go to Messenger, Facebook Messenger, okay, from a desktop, and you search in that search bar the word Bravenly, business, extra money, any conversation that you've ever used those words will pop up. It's a super easy way to follow up with people that you've already talked to really, really quickly. Same thing for customers, right? You can, if you've talked to a couple customers about gold or a couple potentials about gold, if you go to the Messenger search bar and type the word gold in there, every conversation that has ever used that word is going to pop up, and you can follow up really, really quickly. Message them, say, hey, I'm putting together a VIP coaching group this month for people that I'm personally mentoring that want to make some extra income from their phone like I do. Are you interested? Do you want to be in this? If I could teach you how to make $500 extra from your phone on a schedule that like you create, would you be open to learning more? Right? Having those type conversations and messaging with people. One other tip, you guys, record your story. Get on Zoom. You can do this free. You can record yourself talk, have just a outline of maybe who you are, what you've done in the past, why you said yes to Bravenly, and what you're excited about. Record that, put it on YouTube. You're able to send that to people, and your team's able to send that to people as well. Use the insiders page, you guys. All right. Here is another tip that if you are going executive director and you're like, all right, I know who my qualified legs are, I know who my senior director is, but I just don't know if I have that other director. Now is the time to send messages to people that you see true leadership potential in, and have a real conversation about the fact that you are going for a level of leadership rank type position in our company, where you are looking for leaders and you're looking for people to help make about $500 a month, and you wanted to run it by this person. You're curious if they would be interested in that, right? So saying something like, hey, Julie, I wanted to let you know I have a position on my team that pays around $500 a month, and I'm looking for one more person to lock arms with this month and run after that, right? If they're like, I'm in, I want that, bam, there's your director right there. Lock arms with that person for the next 20 days, get them to go director. There it is. It doesn't have to be somebody that's already in now. And I think sometimes that's scary to look at the 10th of the month and be like, oh my gosh, I have a whole leg that doesn't really have anybody. It takes one person. It takes one person that says, I need that money right now. I need to go pay off credit card bills. I need that income. I'll do what it takes. So don't be scared when you guys are looking at your chart and you're seeing holes. You got to go find people. It's why you have to take that responsibility over your business right now to send some messages. So let's talk about tracking volume, because this is probably one of the most important things that I can teach you guys tonight. is how to use these charts and how to actually track it and how to know where you're at all times. Okay. So if you are running for a promotion, I would tell my team, if you have somebody that's running for senior director, if you're going VP and you've got somebody that's an executive director, I'd say, I want to see your chart. Send me your chart. And it better be filled in with numbers, not just names. Okay. So you guys have to learn what that is so that you can kind of duplicate this out first though. But when I've ran for things, I don't have time to dig in and chart every single person on my team. I do have time to do a Zoom and teach them and show them how to do it. And then when I'm reaching out to them, say, hey, text me your chart with numbers and names. That's always what I used to say, numbers and names. So every single person that is on your chart, you guys use pencil, okay? Fill in those names right here. And then how much volume do they have? How much is this person's total group qualification volume? You write it in pencil right here. I always used to write it in the top of the box to the left. Okay, so let's just say the senior director right here, this person needs 5,000 in total group volume. If they're at 3,000 right now, you know they need 2,000 more. You can coach them in a completely different way when you know exactly how much volume is between them and their promotion. You just, it levels everything up when you know exactly how much volume is left, okay? So I'm gonna tell you how to do this, how to find these numbers, okay? So actually, I'm curious if somebody, yes, let me check somebody real quick. She gave me permission the other day, but I just want to double check and make sure I still have her permission. And I will actually share my screen and show you a back office real quick.
You do, Ashley.
Thank you. Love you. Okay, give me a second, guys. I'm going to stop screen share. And I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? Would that be helpful rather than me just telling you? Give me 2 seconds. Taking a drink. All right, we're in business. Okay. Let me get big. Okay. How you're going to track volume, okay? So I would come over here to Organization, Graphical Genealogy Pro, okay? Organization, Graphical Genealogy Pro. So this is how you track volume. I would write this down, track volume, Organization, Graphical Genealogy. You want to change this to unilevel right here, change the genealogy to unilevel, change the color by to brand partners. All right. These people are customers that are gray. The blue people are brand partners. Okay. Right here, have your chart as you guys are doing this and start filling out names. Okay. So if you're like, okay, Cynthia's going senior director. So let's see where she's at. Okay. I'm going to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on her front line. Okay. What does this person have going on under there? Write down their names. Okay, you guys. So this is how you're able to actually find the information to find the names. And then you're like, okay, volume, let's look at that. So you click on info and it pops up this info card in a minute. I promise it will. Okay, there we go. So on that info card, you are looking for qualification, general qualification, the drop down, and then you're looking for total group QV. Okay, total group QV. You can now go back to your chart and write 607 on there. All right, so I would be doing this for every single person that's on your chart, looking at the info, looking at their total group qualification, writing that number down. All right, so the other thing is you can real quickly, let me pull this thing back up, start checking out those things. If you're in that info card, you can tell if they're active. You can tell some of this information by looking and seeing if they have their ambassadors, right? So you can start checking that stuff off. and making sure that person is done. Once you have a qualified leg, once somebody is active, highlight them. They're done. They're good to go. They're good, right? Highlight them so you know who's done and who's not on your chart. So at the very top then of your chart, you go figure out what your total group qualification volume is and how far you are from your promotion as well. So I would get in a habit, you guys, of doing this every single morning or every single night. Just real quickly, figure it out. Once you have the names on the chart and you have gone through the info cards, you guys want to know an easier trick to do it quickly in a like faster way. So you come over here to commissions. Let me just make sure I have this written down right. Come over here by commissions, come to volumes, go to by leg view, and you're able to look at the tops of your legs, their QV, okay? If that number changed, let's say somebody's number did not change, you know no orders went in from the day before, but if there's somebody's number that changed, you can pencil that in and update it, right? And so you're like, oh my gosh, they just did 500 more in volume. We're good, right? So that is a really fast, quick, easy way to, once you have your chart filled out with names and you've done the process of clicking through the info cards and getting their info on there, you're able to every night or every morning just go through and update. And then you know exactly how much volume everybody needs from their goal. So let's kind of talk now about filling volume and how to get the volume in place for you guys to actually hit your promotions. If you're not already doing major recognition on your team for the 400 club, I would start. And you might be going, well, how can I do that? Right? If you don't already have like a team chat with your personally enrolled, start one. Okay. You don't need a whole downline chat. How do you find that easily? Sorry, I just saw the chat. I might have to look at this in a second. Okay, otherwise I'm gonna get sidetracked. Sorry guys. If you have questions, I promise I'll answer, okay? So I would start the 400 PQV, that is on the info card. That is right there. You don't need to know the PBV. You're looking for the QV, okay? The qualification volume. So actually, no, you're right, Tammy. You are looking for PBV for 400 club because that's what they get paid on for the enhanced commissions. So enhanced commissions is the BV. So you want me to show you that? Yes. Okay. Oh, dang it. Did I close out of it? No, I didn't. Okay. Okay. How you find that, you guys, is you come over here to commissions. You click on General Qualification Pro. Let's change this to December. You can either do your personally enrolled or your entire organization and click search. And then you're looking for this column right here, PQV, PBV. This is what enhanced commissions are paid off of. If you click it, it's going to go little to big. If you click it again, it's going to go big to little. So right here, this person, they need to be pushing for 2,000, right? This person right here, they need to be pushing for 12. They're already in the 700 club. So you can very easily now go find these people and reach out to them and let them know where they at. That's why I said like knowing what their goal is so important. So you can coach them in a much, much better way. So your total group qualification volume is what I would have on their charts because that's what they need to be at for your rank. That's the qualifying volume. But if they said that they're trying to get into the 400 club, that's this right here. That's their PBV. Okay. BV is what you're paid on. QV is what you qualify for your active status and ranks on. So let me go back to kind of, if I need to revisit this, I can. But you guys need to have some sort of major recognition going on for your team for getting in those clubs. If you're maybe doing a personally enrolled chat and you're like, all right, guys, I'm going to give away a, $10 Starbucks gift card for, everybody that is on auto ship and gets into the 700 club this month or something silly like that. It doesn't need to be like anything really big and huge. I've done little like boxes of gifts of just random things that I go find at the Target dollar spot and pull one winner and send it to them in the mail. It doesn't have to be very big, but start getting some recognition going. As soon as they hit it, give them a shout out, right? Everybody else on your team that hasn't done that, they're like, oh, they got a shout out. Like, I want a shout out, right? Like, I better bust my butt. I'm at 300. I need 100 more. And all of a sudden, their goals become more relevant to them. When people start getting recognition and shout outs for something, it creates this like FOMO for everybody else that hasn't gotten that. Why? You guys, we live in a world where people don't speak life into people. They don't recognize good things. People in an everyday basis are getting slammed. They're getting criticized. When you go into normal work environments, you're not just praised for being awesome. In this business, we get to do that. So every opportunity that you have to do that, do it. You are going to create so much loyalty and love on your team by doing that. Okay. So making sure when there is a new brand partner that joins your team, you are stepping them through baby steps of what's their first goal. Their first goal is get their 4 ambassadors. Have them focused on that. Their next goal is getting into the 400 club. Their next goal is senior brand partner. Do that as fast as possible. They don't need to know anything else. Give them one goal, get it done. Do you guys ever notice, and maybe it's just my kids, if I'm like, Andrew, grab this outside, bring up your laundry, and then you need to do the dishes. He'll go do the dishes. And then he'll completely forget about the first 2 things I tell him, right? Like maybe, like I said, maybe that's just my kids, but I need to say to him, okay, buddy, go grab the trash from the end of the road. And when you're done, come find me. Awesome. Thanks, bud. Okay. Now I need you to go do the dishes. When you're done with that, find me. And now you can go put away your clothes, right? So if I tell them 5 things to do, they're so distracted and it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? So your new brand partners are babies. They're children. They're like little kids, right? You need to step them through little bits and pieces of this and give them bite-sized goals. So I broke this down on the other 2 Zooms, so it might be repetitive if you were on there, but for those of you that weren't, I need to tell you, and I'm going to throw this in the chat right now. You need to have this saved on a note, put it on a sticky on your computer. If you're a Mac user, there's an app on Mac called Stickies. Put it in one of those and just have it on your computer so you always see this. It is the breakdown of the QV for our products. Okay. Gold is 51, burn is 34, balance is 68, the trio is 140. If you are running for promotions, your biggest goal is to teach people to get into those 400 clubs and teach people how to upsell, right? You're upselling. So if somebody's talking about getting on gold, awesome. What are you excited about for gold for? Like as you're taking their order or as you know, you're telling them how to get on the website, don't just be so occupied on getting them in the system. You want to focus on them, talk to them, have a conversation. Like, what are you excited about? What are those results that you're looking for? Oh my gosh, you want to lose a couple pounds with apple cider vinegar? Detox and mushrooms. Like you're actually, if that's your goal, you would actually be so much more benefited if you actually add burn to this order right now too, because that's going to actually suppress your appetite and it's going to, boost your metabolism, and it's also going to help your blood sugar so you don't have those spikes of insulin. That's what I'm doing right now. It's only X dollars more. Do you want to add that on today too? Right? But you can't have that conversation if you're not asking them about their goals, about what they're excited about. You don't get to have that conversation unless you do your job in the beginning about asking them things and getting people on the trio. You guys, that's 140. These numbers that you see here in the chat, burn, balance, and gold that's the trio. It's 140. If somebody's goal is to get into the 400 club, they just need to sell 2 or 3 of those. That's it. Right? If maybe somebody's loving gold and burn together, they need to sell about 4 of them, and then they're in the 400 club. It gets so much easier. That's why I said, like, if you don't know what your team's goals are, it's so much easier to coach people when you actually know what their goals are, because you can say to them, oh my gosh, you're only 120 away from hitting your goal. Girl, you got 1 more trio and you're good to go, right? You've got 20 days. You're going to hit your goal and smash it and start going towards the 700 club. Get a trio done by Wednesday. all of your posting, all of your messaging, follow up with people, but put in your story, trio every day. You're going to have one of those sold, right? So knowing what the volume is and being able to break it down and telling them, it is so much more like empowering to know, oh my God, I just have to sell a trio. There's something even more like freeing about that than knowing the number itself. And when they're like, okay, my goal is the 400 club and I need 120 more. Okay, all right, how am I going to do this? But when an upline's like, go sell a trio, it's like, oh, okay, well, I know what to do now. I can go do it, right? You give them a focus. So like I said, try to get your structure done by the 15th. So that way you have the 15th of the month, the rest of the month. Tips on, getting those volumes. It's the same thing as what I already gave you guys tips for getting brand partners. You're just switching it from talking about the business to talking about the products, right? You're following up with people about products. You're going live about the products. You're posting about the products. Your messaging is about the products. So a couple last minute things, and then we'll hop off and I'll answer any questions, is your newbies, your new brand partners that are coming in and that are a part of your chart, right? This is where that layered leadership comes in. This is where helping your leaders know what to do for your newbies is keeping it simple, following the steps to success, right? Showing them, spoon feeding them where scripts are. Just give them a script. They're new. They don't need to go dig for it. You don't want their time spent 30 minutes trying to find something when you can just send it to them, right? Teaching them to fish comes later. When they're brand new, you want to spoon feed that baby so they know how to eat, right? Have those newbies focused on those first simple steps and simple goals. But the biggest, most important thing that you guys can do for your new people is be excited, right? Have high energy when you're talking to them. Be excited when you're up early and you're staying up late, right? They're going to match that effort. If you're leading out loud, if you're doing things and showing your team, they're going to match that. Have you guys ever heard like the law of the lid from John Maxwell, right? That you're the lid on your team, that the pace of the leader is the pace of the pack, right? And so are you setting that pace for your team and for your newbies? It starts and ends with your excitement and your energy, right? You guys, I learned a long time ago. I think one of the biggest questions I've been asked as a leader is, how do you motivate people? And nobody ever likes my answer. You can't, you guys. Can't motivate people. You can inspire them and you can lead them. You can't motivate them. That's an internal thing. It's actually more like discipline, right? Like, do I have the motivation to work out? No, I don't want to get on that treadmill. I hate working out, right? Am I disciplined to do it because I want the goals and the results? That's a totally different question. And so as a leader, take that responsibility off of yourself to motivate your team. Instead, inspire them, be a leader that is leading out loud, leading from example, and then showing them what you're doing. If you guys go sign a customer or ambassador, pop in your downline chat and say, hey guys, I just enrolled an ambassador. I want to screenshot my conversation with you so you can see how I answered their objection. You can see how I talked them through this, and you can kind of take some of these tips and try that today, right? A lot of times people don't have the confidence to know what to do, and so they don't do anything at all. But if they know what to do and they know it's going to work, there's this instant confidence boost that they get, and then they find the courage to go do it. So last minute just tips, you guys, just make sure every little ounce of you is in personal activity this month, income producing activities, and you check yourself. All right. Set up alarms on your phone. It is so easy to get distracted, especially if you're sending messages on Facebook, right? You go to that person's wall and you're scrolling, and then a video pops up and you're like, oh my gosh, I only had 30 minutes to work my business, and I literally only did it for 30 seconds and I got sucked in. So just check yourself, set those timers. And then, okay, to-do lists, action steps, and then I'll open it up for questions is tonight. Get your chart printed out, start filling it in, start figuring out those numbers. Okay. Tomorrow, start reaching out to your team, maybe teaching them how to go track that volume, and ask them to send your chart. Ask them to send their charts. And then I want you, if you haven't already, is to make a list of potential brand partners. Okay. So you have intentional focus on who you're reaching out to fill those boxes. And then teach your team to do the same thing, right? The awesome thing about looking at a chart and seeing 3 boxes are left, I only need 3 brand partners. Like, this is so exciting. You could either personally enroll all 3 of those. Your paycheck will be higher because of it, because of the enroller bonus, but you don't have to, right? Like, maybe you enroll 1 and you teach this person to go enroll 1 and you teach this person to go enroll 1. It's not all on you, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, end the recording. If anybody does need to hop off, you can hop off. I will stay on. If there's anything that I talked about, you need to dig in more. If there's any leaders on here that have suggestions, if have tips, anything that you guys feel is relevant to the whole group, obviously unmute, say it in the chat. But if there are any other questions